Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Stacy Spivey here with Ben Briscoe, Chad Silber, and Monique Robinson will be joining us in just a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for watching 4 to 5 on air, online, Roku, and Fire Stick.
You already know what the big story of the day is: road cleanup. The snow has come and gone, but many still needed to get out and run some errands or go to work today. Crews were out early doing what they could, but those neighborhood streets are the problem now.
Yes, definitely. This is a video or picture from a view of Denisha's neighborhood from her front porch just off East Bragg and High Streets in Greensboro. You can see at the time she shared the photo, snowplows hadn't made it to her street. Another viewer sent us this photo from Northwood Street in Greensboro, showing the icy snow packed down onto the road before plowing. In Colfax, a complete whiteout situation by Ballard Farms, and Worthville Road was a little better off in Randleman. You can see some of the snow and ice had melted, partially revealing the pavement.
The Martin Luther King Jr. holiday made great timing for a snow day for a lot of people. Hard to see this photo right there, but it was a picture. Okay, I think the framing is off on these pictures. I'm going to give it a second just in case we're able to fix the framing, because you've got to see some of these photos. They're pretty good. And if we can't get it up, don't worry, we are going to show you these pictures a little bit later on when we do get this framing correct.
Yeah, so many families across the Triad had fun today, and we will get those to you. Crews focused on primary roads like interstates and highways for plowing and salting first before moving on to the neighborhoods. The city of Greensboro says they're about to head into the Category 2 roads now. And Interstate I-40 is moving pretty good right now, too.
Greensboro City crews are doing their best to clear roads so you can get to where you need to go. Now, this is video of drivers early this morning in Greensboro. City crews completed Priority 1 streets this afternoon and have since moved on to Priority 2 routes. Most cities have a plan for how they tackle the roads, and here's a look at Greensboro's snow and ice removal plan. If we can get to that in just a second. Crews headed the red priority roads first, then the secondary ones marked in green. There's a picture of it now. Crews should be done with those red roads and have moved into the green. Anything you see that's blue has been plowed. And we do have a link to this map as well as a few more ways to check out the status of snow cleanup near you. Just text the word roads to 336-379-5775. We'll send you back the information. Again, text, do not call.
Now, as plows work through neighborhoods, school districts are making decisions about whether to go back to school. A new state law gives districts the option to go remote for up to 5 days throughout the year. Each individual school district makes its own decision on using them. Everyone is off for the holiday today, and Guilford was already scheduled to be off tomorrow. Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools will be closed tomorrow, along with a couple of others that we've just learned about. We have a full list of school closings and business closings running at the bottom of your screen, or you can see that complete list on WFMYnews2.com. Our team is tracking conditions as the cleanup is underway today. Grace Holland is in Greensboro. Amber Lake is in Guilford County.
And we have meteorologist Monique Robinson talking about refreeze concerns tonight. And I want to step so I'm out of the way. With those low temperatures coming tonight and the chance for even more precipitation later this week. We also have Jenna Krzina out live in Kernersville, and we're going to actually start with Grace. So Grace, what are the roads looking like for you?
Well, back behind me, this is the Sunset Hills neighborhood in Greensboro, and this is a pretty good idea of what all the neighborhoods we have seen today look like. I'm going to flip this around so you can see down here at my feet. There's been a lot of people walking around, but this is very slick out here along these roads. It's going to be slick if you're walking, and it's also going to be slick if you're driving. I'm going to hop in here very carefully because, again, it is very slick out here, and we're going to ride along, and we're going to show you a little bit what we're seeing out here. So Manning, our photographer, is driving right now. Excuse my hand, guys, as I get this flipped around so that you can see everything. Well, it's really flipping, so I'll just do it this way. So this is what it looks like as we're driving around. You can see there's someone out on a bicycle right now off over on this direction, someone shoveling their driveways. That's something that we've seen a lot today, folks getting their driveways cleared. Whether they're leaving today to go somewhere or not, folks are just really wanting to make sure that if they need to go somewhere, they can, or tomorrow if they're headed back to work, they're going to be able to. And, you know, we've seen from the city that they're, have worked through a lot of those priority 1 roads. and they're starting hopefully this afternoon to work on those second priority roads, which will not quite be neighborhood streets, but maybe will be a little bit closer to your neighborhood. And we're waiting for an update from the City Streets Division on how all of that is going. All right, and we're just going to continue to drive around and show you guys some looks. We'll be back up at 5 and 6.
That guy on the bike's got mad skills. I can't imagine trying to ride in all of that. The Interactive Resource Center will remain a warming shelter tonight for anyone that needs a safe place to stay. The Interactive Resource Center partnered with First Baptist Church to open a shelter at the church. It's over on West Friendly Avenue. The shelter's doors open at 8 p.m. And Monique, it is a great time to have that warming shelter because it is bitter cold out there.
Yeah, bitterly cold is a great way to describe it, especially as I'm standing here in the weather garden. It's been very windy today, and that was in the forecast, but as I'm standing here just watching the trees dance and wave, I mean, it truly has been a gusty, windy day. Now, even earlier today, if you were out pretty earlier, you may have said, hey, it's snowing again. I thought this thing was over. You could see here on our satellite radar picking up on some of those snow showers that briefly made their way through earlier today, but then quickly moved out. Now, when we look at the snow totals, sleet and snow totals from yesterday, just want to give you some of the final reports as PTI was able to max things off at 3.3 inches of snowfall. And as I'm standing out here in the weather garden, I'm starting to see some of this stuff melt, which is a good sign. But as we go into tonight, with temperatures continuing to fall as they are now in the 30s, some of this could transition into freezing. Ice on the roadways, black ice is what we most notably call it. And that's going to be a concern for sure for all drivers out there, but just anyone. When you're walking outside, you need to just watch where you walk because it certainly is dangerous out the door. Current temperatures are in the 30s, but the feels like that wind is making it feel even colder than what the temperature reads. So the temperature is saying 34. So if you stick a thermometer outside, 34 is what it says, but not what it feels. And I can tell you, because I'm standing out here in the weather garden, it really feels like 23 degrees, at least in Greensboro, 26 there in Burlington. All across the Triad, these numbers are just plummeting. And as we go into tonight, it is just going to get cold. Feels like numbers dropping down into the teens. But like I said, it's been windy out there, wind gusts around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Some wind gusts throughout the day even stronger than that. But as we go into the next couple of hours, these winds are going to start to take a back seat and no longer be a factor, and we'll all just be talking about how cold it is. Now, a lot of folks are saying, okay, I don't care about that. What's happening this weekend? And I'll be answering that before the 4 p.m. hour ends.
It is very cold outside, but that didn't stop some families from enjoying the day sledding, throwing snowballs, and spending time with their families.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. We haven't gotten this much snow in like 3 years, and I'm just really excited to have snow again.
There's no days like snow days. Families in Greensboro taking advantage of the snow-covered hills and getting some serious speed on the way down.
The rush of the wind in your face is like chapping your face, and then you're trying to swerve not to get into the creek. The rush of it and the adrenaline is so much fun.
It was really fun. It's very fast and very fun.
Even I dusted off my old sledding skills.
So how was it?
Slightly terrifying, but also fun at the same time. A fun for all ages. Grandparents snowed in with their grandkids who live in Raleigh.
We were supposed to babysit for the weekend, and snow was in the forecast, so we said, bring them on. So they're here, and we've had a ball.
Yeah, we said they can stay till we can get them back, so we've been having fun. It's been a little adventure.
A kind of fun that no matter how cold it gets, will warm your heart and have you wishing every day was a snow day.
It's exciting, and I think I kind of want that every day.
I don't know if you caught that. He says at the end, I kind of want that every day. He wishes it could be every day. We had so much fun, both I and Dave Fields, one of our photographers on staff, and he went sledding down the hill. You saw that point of view shot. That was him with the camera in
Wow,
hand.
that's skills.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that was always one of my favorite memories growing up in the Great White North. You know, when you had a snow day or you got off of school, was going outside and freezing your butt off and just having a good time building snowmen and all that.
Listen, I love sledding, but what goes down the hill must come back up. And that's the hard part, trying to walk back up that hill.
Yeah, I was out of breath trying to. And then you're trekking through the snow too, so
With
that makes it
heavy
even
coat
more.
and all that.
And the sled behind you, y'all, those kids are having a blast. I'm glad that they got a snow day.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
needed it.
And I love that that Grandma and Grandpa loved having the kids there for the holiday weekend too.
Yeah, it was so sweet. I hope that you guys have been having fun as well. Send us photos or videos of your kids playing in the snow. We'd love to see those.
Or you playing in the snow.
Yeah, we can, no matter the age.
That's right. We'll be right back. In honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, his family led a March for Peace today through Washington, D.C. It was also meant to focus on the fight for voting rights.
On this holiday marking his father's birthday, Martin Luther King III led a peace walk across Washington's Frederick Douglass Bridge. He called on Congress to pass stricter protections for voting rights.
If you can deliver an infrastructure bill for bridges, you can deliver voting rights for Americans. If you do not, there's no bridge in this nation that can hold the weight of that failure.
The bill would remove restrictions that Republicans say enhance election security. But with its passage in doubt, advocates say the nation is at a critical point.
We need to have protections at the polls and to make sure that we can get there safely.
The King family wants changes now, putting more pressure on Congress to pass sweeping voting rights reform to give more Americans access to the ballot and not allow Senate rules to stand in their way.
The unmitigated goal to hide behind cloture and the filibuster, two procedural hurdles. When black people turned the tide to get Joe Biden elected, it puts me beside myself.
Last Thursday, two moderate Senate Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, threw their support behind the legislation, but they do not approve of changing Senate rules in order for it to pass. Its failure would be a stinging blow to the president, who said it's not enough to praise Dr. King on this holiday. It's time for action.
We must commit to his unfinished work, to deliver jobs and justice, to protect the sacred right to vote.
The Senate plans to debate the voting rights bill on Tuesday, and the president says whatever happens, he'll continue the fight. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
On this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Coach Lamont explains what Dr. King taught him as an African-American man.
As a black man, I can recall many lessons that Martin taught me. Martin taught me to war with my words and not with my hands. Martin taught me that peace is my greatest weapon. Partnered with love, that would make me dangerous. Martin taught me that a man's first responsibility is to his God, second to his family, and third to his purpose. Martin taught me that I can march with my feet, but my mind will always go before me. Martin taught me that every room that I enter in should be honored because I am there. Martin taught me that I have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Martin taught me that at times others may not agree with what I have to say, but they will stand and respect me. Martin taught me that as a black man, I should be proud of who I am and appreciate those who went before me. Martin taught me to step up and remind the world that I am a man and no one can tell me otherwise.
And Dr. King came here to the Triad to teach people too. Check this out. Wake Forest University is remembering a visit from Dr. King right here in the Triad. On October 11th, 1962, Dr. King spoke in Waite Chapel on campus as part of a college union lecture series. Now, in his speech, Dr. King used some of the language he'd later use in his I Have a Dream speech. According to the university, it wasn't the first time a black man had spoken on campus, but it was the first time a black man had been invited to speak after full integration.
That's really cool. The one thing that I always think about on this day every year was I had the opportunity to go to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. And that's actually the hotel. They've redone it to make it a museum. It's the hotel where he was shot and killed. And just being able to walk through there and see the room where it actually happened, and you kind of go through his story as you're going through the museum. It's really a great learning lesson and just a great experience overall. You really feel everything when you're in there.
I always love when we can hear about when big figures from our time came to the Triad and left their mark on our area, like you just saw at Wake Forest University. I love going through the International Civil Rights Center and Museum too, because there are just so many important messages that are still relevant today when you look at some of the things that our country, even our state, our city has gone through.
I feel as though as an African-American woman standing here today, listening to stories of Dr. Martin Luther King and other individuals who've done prominent things in our country and history just makes me more proud to be here today, because I know of what my ancestors and even grandparents have fought for me to be here today. So just days like this are just moments of reflection and gratefulness, because I know for me just the history that my ancestors have here, how important it is for me to stand here and be able to tell the weather. It sounds like, how is that a correlation? But it's really deeply rooted, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity always.
And that is why I'm glad we have today, because it marks it and it makes us remember the past and look forward to the future too.
Certainly.
We'll be right back.
Oh, what a 48 hours it has been. I mean, just a couple of days ago, our roads did not look like this. White did not just blanket anywhere across the area as like it does right now. Taking a look across the Triad on our wonderful Skycam views, you can see Truist Field, Wake Forest University, that field blanketed in white. Not even a single soul has touched it, just white out there. We've seen a few bit of clouds, and even you can see that UNC Greensboro cam kind of showing some moisture there on the cam. Things melting off as from that freezing rain that was captured earlier today. Like I said, the winds have been fairly gusty at times. Current wind gusts 22 miles per hour there as we look north, 23 south, 29 there in Burlington. So it's been fairly windy out there throughout the entirety of this day. But like I said, those winds are going to be declining as we go through the latter part of your Monday. Let's take a look at how these wind gusts are going to look as we transition into tonight. Reaching back down to roughly between 10 to 15 miles per hour. That is breezy, but not as strong of a wind gust like we saw earlier today or even yesterday. We had some really strong wind gusts with that winter storm making its way through. And then as we go to Tuesday, that's when those winds will really just not even be a concern at all, especially by Tuesday afternoon. Over the next 20 hours, though, it is going to get cold. What we see as we start out our Tuesday morning, we are in the low 20s. So if it feels cold now, baby, get ready. It's going to get cold as we start out the day on Tuesday. It is going to be very, very cold across the area simply because it is winter time. We're no longer feeling those temperatures back in the 60s or 70s. The 20s and 30s are here to stay. More details on the weekend forecast coming up.
On social media today, we get a really clear picture of how day 2 of this storm went. Check it out right here. It started beautiful sunrise over Winston-Salem State University right there. Just a gorgeous picture with the snow blanketing on the ground. But then a little surprise bonus. As people started driving to work and getting out in the morning, we got some more snow. Look at Chris trying to make his way down this road. That's pretty brave. You can't even see where the lanes are in that road. And then things started melting off. Christian Morgan snapped this before and after picture on his way into the morning show today. If there's any way we could lose that line at the bottom there for just a second so you can see the street, I'd love to be able to show that. Thank you guys in the control room. This was beginning at 3 a.m. It was pretty icy, but by noon, things had melted off quite a bit out there. Even some of the main streets, like this one in Gibsonville and downtown, smooth sailing, no problem. Here is where the issue arose. The parking lots, the neighborhoods, they are still completely iced over right now. Take a look at this. Try walking in that parking lot. A lot of businesses around town trying to deal with it, but still a whole lot of streets just like this. About 30 minutes ago, we had a viewer text in this photo to us from Bayberry Lane in Greensboro. Thank you so much to everyone who shared a picture. If you have more that you would like us to share, just post them and tag WFMY. We'll be right back.
Today would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. The actress, best known for her roles in the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Golden Girls, died on December 31st. To celebrate her life and honor her birthday, the Betty White Challenge is calling for people to donate to their local shelters in her name. White was a huge advocate for animals and donated her time and money to rescue shelters. Guilford County Animal Services Director Jorge Ortega says the staff came up with the idea to do $17 adoptions since her birthday was on the 17th. They started last week and will continue through January 23rd. This is especially important since they've seen a surge in strays lately.
And it's sad she's not here. But if we can honor her through these adoption promotions and we can find, loving homes for these dogs and cats that we have that are here with us through this promotion, then I think we're doing good things, by Betty White.
The Forsyth Humane Society also posted on Facebook about the challenge. The Snob Shop donated $5 for every purchase made on Saturday to the shelter in honor of Betty White. I think this is such a wonderful idea. I mean, we all loved Betty White and we were all sad when she passed away. So this is a great way to honor her on what would have been her 100th birthday.
It's such a shame that
So close. So close.
So close.
I think it's so admirable to see these people who have talent and fame and then they use it for a good cause like this. And that's one of the reasons I think so many people loved Betty White, is because she didn't just sit by and enjoy all of her money. She actually got out there and tried to make a difference. And I'm glad to see people holding her name up today with that.
I know, so sweet. So if you have the ability to go out and adopt or even just donate money or even foster, I know that those shelters would greatly appreciate it, especially because all of them that I've talked to recently, Burlington, Forsyth, and Guilford, are all struggling with staffing shortages and they have an influx of animals, so they need our help.
All right, we'll be right back.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check 1 2 out here in Winston-Salem.
Hey, we're good. Yes, it's off.
Yes, it is off. Listen, try dealing with him 2 days in a row.
Check, check, check. 1 2 3 3 2 1. 1 2 3 3 2 1. It's called. It's called. It's called. It's called. It's called. Is our net mic off? Check, 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 check.
Hey friends, I hope you are somewhere warm and bundled up. I am Ben Briscoe with Stacy Spivey, Chad Silver, and Monique Robinson.
Yeah, thankfully, some of us are inside, poor Monique, but you got a big coat on.
Yeah, I'm always going to be decked out with the coat, Ben. You know that from the weekends.
We missed the scarf. We were talking about where is that giant scarf you wear today.
I got you tomorrow, don't worry.
Because it's still gonna be cold. And of course, weather is what we're talking about today. Roads are starting to look a little better after crews spent today plowing and salting. East Chester Drive in High Point was slushy, but cars were still able to get through as long as they were taking their time.
Plows in Greensboro have moved on to neighborhood streets now after clearing main roads. Some of those neighborhood streets looked a lot like this one. This was Tate Street this morning before a plow could get to it. Now compare that to a main thoroughfare like West Market Street, which is considered a Priority 1 road, so it is treated first.
Our team is on top of road conditions and checking in with utility companies and crews as they work to clear streets and restore power. Amber Lake is in Guilford County.
Meteorologist Monique Robinson has an update on the forecast as we look ahead to refreezing overnight, and Jenna Krasina is live in Kernersville. Let's start with Amber. You've spent much of the day in High Point today. How's it looking there, Amber?
So the major roadways like East Chester Drive and Main Street seem to be fairly clear, but it's whenever you get to roads like this. This is at the intersection of Kirkwood Street, Kirkwood Street and Paris Avenue, where drivers seem to have a lot of issues. Now I want to show you this video that we shot earlier today. This is what most of the secondary roads look like in neighborhoods around High Point. Now I spoke to the city who told me that they have 12 trucks, 3 motor graders and 4 loaders that have been out and about since 7 a.m. treating and plowing the major roadways, bridges, intersections, and central business district. They said their main goal is primary roads, and that has most of the traffic. Then once they complete that, they're going to get more salt, and then they'll move to the secondary roads. People like Bill Haywood said he can't wait for tow trucks to come plow his road. That's why he's out today scraping off his car in order to get to work tomorrow.
It's been kind of hectic, you know, with the sleet and the snow. It's been pretty bad.
Haywood drives a Mustang and says it does not do good in the snow, but says he has no choice but to get it ready for tomorrow because he has to go to work, just like many of us do. I actually talked with a 79-year-old woman who was out earlier today scraping off her car to get it ready for tomorrow. That's why the city is urging drivers, if you have to get out in this, make sure that you're being careful. They said make sure that you keep your distance from other drivers, and they said that the sun has helped tremendously in helping some of this snow melt, but it could potentially refreeze again tonight.
Amber, thank you. While crews work on those neighborhood streets, families are wondering if their students will go back to school tomorrow or just learn remotely. Schools have the option to go remote as needed thanks to a new state law. The law states that public schools can go remote for up to 5 days. School districts decide on how or when to use those days. Everyone was out today for Martin Luther King Day, and Guilford County Schools is already scheduled to be off tomorrow. Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is closed tomorrow. We do run a closing ticker at the bottom of our newscast when it's running during newscasts. You can check to see if your child's school is closed, or you can also visit our website, WFMYnews2.com.
Okay, if you've got to go out there, here are 3 things to remember about driving in these conditions. They all sound obvious, but law enforcement says after what they saw today, they are worth repeating. First off, drive slowly. You have less traction on snow and ice. These are roads in High Point just this afternoon. Woo, a sheet of ice there. It's going to take a while for crews to get out to every small side road that they can reach. That's why you want to be careful not to hit the gas too hard because you could spin out of control. Second, don't tailgate anyone. Increase your following distance to give you extra room in case you need to stop. And third, know your brakes. With anti-lock brakes, there's no need to pump the brake. Just press down slowly and then hold firm. Otherwise, you could cause your car to jerk and fishtail.
If you leave your car on the side of the road or highway, it will probably get towed. The DOT's quick clearance protocol is in effect. The DOT and State Highway Patrol can legally remove it. The department says quick clearance makes the road safer for drivers who might lose control of their cars. It also prevents potential damage to abandoned vehicles. If your abandoned car gets towed within city limits, call local police. Now, if it's outside of city limits, call the Highway Patrol.
National Guardsmen also helped clear roads in Greensboro yesterday. Soldiers helped get stranded drivers safely off the road. You could see several of them pushing cars, even helping them get unstuck. We're still in a statewide state of emergency, allowing to free up some of those resources.
Greensboro Police also helping a lot of drivers as they went out and about today, saying roads were pretty bad this morning. Authorities are cautioning again. If you don't have to be out on the roads, stay home. What may have melted today will likely refreeze tonight.
For those plows to be able to not have to hesitate or halt their travels to try to get the roads cleared, because you could still become disabled or in the way, and then the police would have to respond to help you get your vehicle out of the same ditch that those plows are trying to clear for us to be able to pass safely.
These wintry conditions are affecting more than just road travel. If you have a flight at the Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro today and over the next few days, you probably want to check on your flight. PTI is open, but airlines have already canceled dozens of flights. Airport officials say check your flight status before heading to PTI. And Monique, the skies are clearing up, and hopefully that helps get airlines back on track with those flights.
Yeah, certainly. However, the winds could be still a concern, especially as we move out of the picture of this winter storm. The winds are still fairly breezy, but going into tomorrow, things should be much better as high pressure becomes the main feature across our area. But not too after this high pressure moves out of the picture going into the midweek, we do get another weather system to set itself up. And then the big question is, what happens after that? Well, here are some things that I do know. It's going to be bitterly cold tonight into tomorrow. So yes, you can rock the scarf for today, tonight, tomorrow, and even the next day as temperatures stay very cold. And those wintry cold temperatures are expected to stick around for several days. Now, the thing here is when it is above freezing, you get rain. The forecast is simple. But when it gets around the freezing point, below the freezing point, that's when the forecast gets tricky. Because if we have any weather systems that move through, we could not only just see rain, but we could see other types of precipitation, which was the case yesterday in our winter storm, where we had not only snow, but we even saw sleet. And then we ended the day with freezing rain. And then earlier today, we had another burst of snow. So rain or wintry mix or both are possible for this weekend. Can't rule it out. And I'm not holding back the details. I'm trying to break it all down just for you. I'm showing you what I'm seeing. And here's one of the cases here. This is potentially a weather model. So things staying dry through your Tuesday, through your Wednesday. Not seeing anything here. Like I said, high pressure moving in. A cold front could potentially cross our area Thursday and bring us rain and maybe even another wintry mix. But it really just depends on the timing of the cold air and when exactly this cold front makes its way through. It could just be all rain, and for the weekend, we could see more of it. I'll have more details with the full forecast at 7-day coming up.
Duke Energy is handling more than 15,000 power outages statewide, but it's actually looking really good in our area. There are just about 150 outages in Guilford, 47 in Forsyth, and all other counties are below 100. WFMY News 2's Jenna Kurzina spent much of the day in Forsyth County today. How are the roads over there, Jenna?
Hey, Chad, and as expected, those primaries and interstates like I-40, 421 looking much better than they did yesterday. But don't let that fool you if you do go out. We are here near 5th Street, close to downtown Winston-Salem, and you can see here 5th Street looks really, really good. And then going off of 5th Street into the secondary neighborhood roads, a lot different. Still a lot of tire tracks, a lot of people still out and about traveling, but you know, those clear roads, don't let them fool you. I did speak with both Forsyth County DOT and the city of Winston as crews have been going out and working nonstop around the clock to make sure the roads are safe and travelable for folks. You know, a lot of people going back to work tomorrow. They said, you know, of course, their main focus and priority are those primary roads. And as soon as those are clear, they're going to hit those secondary roads and then go in to those neighborhoods. Take a listen to what Winston-Salem had to say today.
We really just want to have, if you will, open roads so we can go about doing the work that we need to do. Because when we say we're going to clear a street, we mean clear it from curb to curb. And we don't want to be slowed by traffic, by other people that are out on the road who just want to see. Let us do our job.
Both the DOT and the city of Winston-Salem say they don't have an exact timeline on when they're supposed to be expected to be finished up with the cleanup process, but are hoping it'll look a lot better come Wednesday and then, you know, heading into the weekend.
It is really cold out there, so one thing we can all use to warm our hearts up a little bit is that we can get through this with each other's help. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office shared a photo today of a Lowe's store. Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough dropped by to grab salt for the detention center and the sheriff's office. Only problem, the store was closed until 8, but an operations manager saw him out of the store and told the sheriff, sure, she'd open up, make sure that they got what they needed so they could open and keep everyone safe. It is a great reminder that we are all in this together.
Now it's time to get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The FBI identified the suspect who took 4 people hostage Saturday at a Texas synagogue. Malik Akram died, but all 4 hostages managed to escape alive. Authorities said it happened during services Saturday morning, which was being broadcast on a live stream. The FBI says Akram was a British citizen who arrived in the U.S. 2 weeks before this incident. British Police's counterterrorism unit arrested 2 teenagers connected to the synagogue incident. 2 U.S. officials said Akram did not appear on any terror watch list, and the FBI is now working to learn if he had any help in the States. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signed new laws banning critical race theory in public schools and lifting mask requirements. Critical race theory is a concept developed by legal scholars to examine the ongoing effects of racism in American policies and institutions. Youngkin also removed school mask requirements statewide in public schools, leaving parents the option to make the decision for their kids. Surveillance photos show a massive underwater volcanic eruption in the South Pacific Saturday. New Zealand was covered in a thick film of volcanic dust. Water supplies there are contaminated, and authorities are asking people to drink bottled water. Tsunami waves of about 2.7 feet crashed onto Tonga's shoreline, sending waves from New Zealand to California. 2 people drowned in Peru. The U.S. Geological Survey estimated the eruption caused the equivalent of a magnitude 5.8 earthquake. The federal government's website is now active to get free at-home COVID tests. You can go to covidtest.gov and enter your name and address to get a free test. Tests should ship within 7 to 12 days of ordering, and this is part of the Biden administration's efforts to expand testing. Now, if you don't order your test online, your insurance company is also required to reimburse you under the new policy. You'll have to file for that reimbursement.
Speaking of the pandemic, I'm tracking a small bright spot among our local coronavirus numbers. The latest percent positive in Guilford County is 25.6%. It's really high, but it's actually the lowest number the county's reported in 10 days. During that time, the county saw numbers as high as 33%, which meant 1 in 3 tests was coming back positive. Today's number is 1 in 4 tests. Again, it is way too high, 5 times the county's goal, but I'm counting our small victories when we get them.
Because of the weather, Guilford County has closed a number of their testing sites and vaccine clinics for today. The only site open right now is the National Institute for Medical Diagnostics. That's on West Meadowview Road if you need it. The site is open until 5 p.m. Now, clinics in Winston-Salem are also experiencing delays or closures. We've got a running list of those on our website, WFMYnews2.com. We'll be right back.
Facebook.
Hello, Facebook. I'm sorry I have not been on the stream. I've been so busy.
So the reason I wanted to bring up our microphones to talk to you was because I know that you also wanted to hear about Baylor's first snow encounter yesterday.
So
I mean, obviously.
So cute. So how'd it go?
So we went outside for about 2 seconds to take a photo and some cute video of her and Wrigley, and we went right back inside. She was just kind of looking around, like it kept hitting her in the face, and she was like,
Oh, because it was probably sleeting at that time, right?
It was sleeting, so it actually wasn't snow. But Wrigley had a blast, my dog, if y'all didn't know that. He actually at some points was sitting by the door whining because he wanted back out to play.
My dog refused to go out. George the Greyhound. He just looked at that and was like, no way.
No.
Teach me how to use the toilet instead. I'm not dealing with that.
It's so funny how some dogs love it or they hate it. It's just, there's no in between.
I feel like that's a lot of dogs when it comes to water too.
Yes.
Like a lot of dogs would love to go into the ocean. The other ones just look at it like, what is that?
Or some are scared.
Right.
Yeah. The first time Wrigley ever saw the ocean, he didn't get the concept of it. It keeps coming back. The waves keep coming back, and he would run away from it. It was so funny.
That is funny. So, so Baylor had a nice time, just a couple of seconds out there. You got some good. That video though was really cute.
Yeah, it was sweet. I mean, obviously that's something I'll always remember, and we took video and pictures so that she can see when she gets older. And I was trying to think about it. I'm like, did my parents ever video my first snow? I guess we had the big camera recording thing, you know.
I'm so glad that my parents were not there to film all of my first, because there have been a lot of embarrassing stuff out there.
Right?
That's, you gotta feel for the kids these days.
Yeah.
All of their embarrassing moments.
My husband
on
Jake,
forever.
he videos and takes pictures of everything embarrassing of her, and I'm like, please do not show this to her when she gets older. Literally, you know, I was just still talking about Baylor because we had so much fun out in the winter snow, but today is all about cleanup. It doesn't have to be all work and snow play. Get it?
Yes.
No?
Yeah,
Snow.
I like that.
Yeah, okay.
And I like that video of Baylor too. Ben, you've been collecting photos and videos from people showing conditions and just kind of getting out and enjoying the winter weather.
Well, actually, it's the police doing some cleanup of their own here, trying to find the source of all of this storm. Check this out from South Carolina. This video right here posted to Facebook. Can you tell who they're chasing down? It's Elsa. They're grabbing her, getting her off the streets to make sure we are safe from this winter storm.
Oh, they're arresting her.
They are arresting her.
And it's
She
funny
just wanted to let it go, okay?
It's funny because a lot of people would agree with this arrest, but others are saying, no, let her bring more.
Well, I think the funniest part to me are some of the comments on this Facebook page. It was a great idea by the police department to do this. And Mickey in Savannah, Morgan wrote, my 7-year-old daughter says, don't put her in jail, take her back to that ice palace. And then Catherine says, oh, let her go.
That's great. That's
I love
funny.
it.
That's
Yeah.
funny. But honestly, I'm glad that Elsa gave us a little bit of snow.
Yeah, I know the kids really, really liked it.
And speaking of the kids really liking it, we asked you all day long yesterday to send in your messages, your pictures, your video. Just text them to us. I got to show you some of the great ones that you guys sent in. Take a look as we go to break.
Well, as the sun came out and we got to see more sunshine throughout the day as those clouds kind of break, that really helped to melt some of the snow that has laid itself across beautifully in places like High Point and in Greensboro. I certainly believe tonight we will have a very nice sunset in just a couple, less than about an hour, as we have few clouds out there and that sun. When we have few clouds kind of peeking through with the sunshine, we get these beautiful hues in our skies and will make for some very pretty sunsets. Tonight, those temperatures are going to fall. 19 is where they'll fall to. 41 is where they'll climb back to by tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be a mostly sunny day, but as you can see, with temperatures falling down to 19, icy roads are very likely as a lot of this stuff continues to melt from today, and then it just sits around as water. It will then freeze as we go into below freezing temperatures. So black ice is very likely. We have puddles and moisture in temperatures like today, greater than 32. But then tonight, when it gets below 32, that transitions into black ice. Haven't shown the 7-day yet, but here you have it. You can see those very cold temperatures will be sticking around for quite a while and into the start of next week. The fine-tuned details of the weekend forecast will come into play by Wednesday.
Hey, Mike, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check, check, check.
Hi, 1, 2.
Hi, Kelly. I am on.
Hey, we are getting the latest social right now.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about 3 things that, when put together, make a football fan the happiest. I don't know, call me crazy. No, really, go ahead. Go. I heard my wife the loudest. 3 things that just make perfect football watching, for me at least, okay? And I think most football fans feel the same way. cold weather, right? It's football, it's supposed to be cold. Snow, the best, and the playoffs. For goodness sake, people, last night was utopia for me. Let's think about this. Let's recap. Cold weather, right? We had wind chill readings at one point at 4 degrees. That's cold enough, way cold enough. Snow, it was kind of a weird event, but we did get several inches of snow, some ice on the top of it. Frosty wonderland out through the window, right? Whether you like it or not. And then the NFL playoffs. And by the way, the games, really good, right? So we had games all day. So those three things together, except for ACC basketball and the NCAA championship, pretty much started my 2022 off with a bang. I could not have been happier. If you're like me, if you're a real football fan, I mean, this imagery of being on the couch with a blanket and hot cocoa or coffee or beverage of your choice, and great NFL games pretty much sets my year off. So, regardless of everything else, at least for last night, I had this much utopia in my life, and maybe it'll be back for ACC basketball and NCAA championships. Oh, and that COVID thing. Can we just get rid of that? That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Many roads are still a mess across the Triad, many looking like this, a day after a winter storm dumped snow and sleet.